Hey, Alan, you want a piece of this? Well, before you show up to my doorstep, where I'll laugh at you first and then call the ambulance, take a look at what you'll be facing. What's going on, YouTube? What's happening? My name is Albert and I'm ready for bout number 4, defending Cali Muscle against Alan Roberts. But first, bout number 1 was against Greg Doucette, who has no idea about fasting.
Thank the Lord for making me not a moron.
And so I explained the history of fasting going all the way back to the 5th century. And then bout number 2 was against Johnny Shreves. Now this one, you have to take a look at the clip.
Cali Muscle, the reason why you had a heart attack wasn't because you were just eating ramen noodles and McDonald's and shitty food. It's because you exacerbated that doing tons of anabolics. That's the truth. Like, say that.
Hello, he did say that.
11 years in prison, top ramen, 4 or 5 a day, and then to top it off with bodybuilding with roids.
Okay, man, so bout number 3 was again against Johnny Shreves, who bashed and disagreed and denied every single beneficial testimony that Cali Muscle brought to the table. Check it out.
My blood work was the best it ever was in my life. I lost edema in my feet and ankle. Cholesterol was low.
Cali Muscle freaking testifies that the watermelon challenge was the best thing he ever did in his life. And look at freaking Johnny Shreves' face about it.
The watermelon challenge is the best thing I ever did in my life.
And so now I came across this video.
He would know about dying early because that's what he's going to do.
This video was made by Alan Roberts a month ago. And so what I'm doing is this November, Cali celebrates 3 years alive after his Widowmaker heart attack. So I'm going to make celebration videos and I'm going to call all these guys out that have predicted his death already.
You can't fuck everything up until you're 46, 47, have a Widowmaker heart attack and then pretend like, oh, well, I'm just going to change because it's time, I feel it. Dude.
Yes, you can. You know how many alcoholics I freaking treated that they beat themselves to a pulp and they're still alive right now, and they came in at 52, maybe 55, maybe 60, and they're doing okay. And so what happens is that what Alan doesn't understand is that he doesn't understand the death threat scare that someone goes through and the changes they make because of it.
Have a Widowmaker heart attack and then pretend like, oh, well, I'm just going to change because it's time, I feel it. Dude.
He's not there to know this. I know it because I dealt with it for many, many years. And what happens is that when a drug addict, an alcoholic, a cancer patient, they see their death and they smell it. There's a certain smell you get where you can actually smell the death. And that changes everything. And so, yes, you can ruin your life, beat yourself up, do all the wrong things, whether you knew it or not. Because Cali says clearly, man, he said a lot of the things that I did that hurt me, I didn't know. So he says it himself. Yeah, I ruined my life. I messed things up. So Alan is here saying, you ruined your life. Cali says it. And so, man, so that's one thing, man. Cancer patients, man. I know cancer patients that were sent home to die and they're still alive. And so what happens is there's a certain will to live. And when that will strikes, it strikes strong. And there's a lot of measures that people take where they're so extreme that anybody will go, oh no, you're doing the wrong thing. Because if you're only used to the general health, then that's all you could bring forward. But the extremes, like to fast, like you have to think about it. If Cali's willing to fast like that and eat watermelon like that, then he's in a serious predicament, and he's taking those type of measures because he needs to take those type of measures.
This point in your life, you mean the last like 2 years of it? Like, because this is the last like 2 years of your life, bro.
Okay, so I would like to tell all you guys who are predetermining Callie's death that that's such a cheap shot. And the reason why that's a cheap shot is because a heart attack is already a death scare. It's a threat to your life. And most of the time, there's not a lot to go after someone suffers their second heart attack. You know, you get your first heart attack, that pretty much says something. You get your second, that says more. You get your third, you know you're close. Come on, man. And so what you're doing is really like a low shot. It's a cheap shot what you're doing.
You're dying.
It's a cheap shot because Alan is reminding someone who is already aware that they're gonna die.
You're dying.
And the insult here is that Callie is doing everything he can to live, which is working for him. However, seen as stupid because he's not intelligent enough for you, or because you have the answers.
Like, this dude's never gonna make it to my age.
And so what if he does live to your age? What are you gonna say?
You fucking moron!
And so check this out. If you happen to be 6 or 7 years older than Callie, and let's say the life expectancy of someone in his condition is 4 or 5 years, what you're doing is horrible. And so I don't know how old you are. Hopefully you can let me know and then we'll see. Okay, update. I sent Alan a message. How old are you was my message. His reply was, I'm older than Callie will likely get to. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. I'm older than Callie will likely get to. He's one of those guys. Hey, Alan, how much is that cup of coffee? It's more than you could ever afford. So, man, it looks like Alan's not going to share his age because maybe he already is aware that someone like me is going to come around. And when Callie makes it to his age, what is he going to say? Oh, it's the stem cells. It's the infarction was wrong. You have to think about what it takes for a guy to fast that long, to take watermelon only that long, beets that long, apples, pineapples, cucumbers. You have to think about the state that that person's in. He's not in a good state and he says so. So now you come along and say so for him when he says so.
These Cheez-Its. So we got wheat flour, nice and reduced vitamin V, vegetable oil.
Notice how he's just mumbling it now because he knows he can't pronounce this shit. So he's got first, he's got 25 and then they got the fucking middle of it.
Okay, so this is very important. Articulation, well spoken, it won't save you. You can try all you want. Oh yeah, they sound so articulate, they're smart, they say all the big words perfectly. That won't save you. What Kylie's trying to convey is to not touch that stuff, full stop, that's it. Nothing more. If you really rely on that, it's because you have low self-esteem. Oh, look, he can't say the words even correctly. For what? He's not eating it. Look it. I say the word wrong. I don't eat it. Now I say the word correctly. I don't eat it. I did the same thing either way.
And he would know about dying early because that's what he's going to do. There's no hope. Dude's not going to live a long time. It's not a guess.
Did you catch that? There's no hope. You guys, hey, that's a fact. That's what he's saying. But watch this, okay? Watch this. Because I want to show you the rub off, okay? The rub off is that the information is already a set standard of what happens to people when they reach a certain stage. Like, I'll give you an example. The end stages of cancer, the end stage, you got months to live, maybe days, maybe weeks. And so that's it. And so now, I come across someone, they're in the end stages of cancer, and then I get off by saying, oh yeah.
Dude's not going to live a long time. It's not a guess.
Like, what kind of pride can you extract from that? So what you guys are doing are playing off of rubber numbers. Rubber numbers means that if, let's say, someone has 1 to 5 years to live, you play on that. And so if you say, hey, this guy's gonna die within 2 years and he dies 3 years later, you go, you see, yeah, that was close. And so you make up whatever suits you, which is terrible to do.
2 gallons of this. 2 gallons of this has 110 milligrams of fucking sodium in it. You think that's why your hands and feet are puffy? No, motherfucker, you're dying. That's why.
He's freaking yelling and all angry all alone in a room by himself. When you end up getting yourself all wound up and angry over someone who you don't know, and you're in front of a camera, screaming in front of the camera, he's scaring all the bugs away. And then he's poking at the water. He's hating the water, bro. Can you imagine the freaking anger and the rage that this guy has? I can imagine, man. His surroundings must be scared of him. They're like, yeah, whatever you say, man. They don't want to get on his bad side. Yeah, you're fucking...
I'm vastly more concerned about the plastic that this water is in than the sodium in the water.
What do your concerns have to do with his life?
I would gladly look forward to making you look stupid as fuck, because that's what you are.
So, Alan's main objective here is to make a Widowmaker survivor look stupid, not help him.
You are dying of congestive heart failure from your fucking heart. Your circulatory system is fucked up.
Bingo, he just did it again. He's reminding someone who already is aware that they're gonna die, that they're gonna die. That's like me telling someone during the end stages of cancer, hey, you're gonna die. Like if they already don't know.
It's unfucking believable how moronic this guy is. It's like there's effort put into being stupid.
There's effort to being stupid. I'm worried about your anger, man. What's going on with yourselves why you're so angry all by yourself in front of a camera? I can understand someone that gets angry with real life situations, man, but you're getting angry in front of a camera by yourself, bro. That's something freaking crazy. And plus, you want to beat him. Why? What's this thing of beating someone?
He does not want none of me. I'd make him look silly, and he knows it.
He don't want nothing of me. Did I hear that right? He wants to fight a heart patient. Like, what the hell is going on over here, bro? This guy he's challenging Cali to a fight, but he's challenging a heart patient, someone with a Widowmaker who's fragile. I bug out when I see people saying, look at him, he's not lifting, he's lifting less and less. Well, of course, man, after a heart attack, you have to take it easy. Did you know that? You want to lift 200,000 pounds right after your freaking surgery? Are you out of your rockers, man? Shouldn't you go, yeah, Kylie, take it easy?
And secondly, what the fuck would he do? I outweigh him by about fucking 15 pounds now. I'm bigger and stronger than he is now.
Oh, look at me. I outweigh Kylie Muscle by 15 pounds and I'm bigger and stronger than him too. Bigger than stronger than a Widowmaker heart attack survivor. Yo. Come on, man. Don't compare yourself to a freaking heart patient, man. Don't compare yourself to a cancer patient, too, man. I can see you already freaking challenging a guy in a wheelchair, bro. Don't do that, man. The guy's a heart patient, man. They treat him like a heart patient.
And I was never afraid of him before when he was big and fucking strong because he looked like a fucking oaf. So, I mean, Callie could show up at my front door right now and I'd laugh first and then fucking call the ambulance for him.
Look at this. I wasn't afraid of him before or afterwards. Why? You guys are supposed to be like, am I off? Because if it's a fight, it's never going to happen, which means now you're living in an imaginary world. Like, you really think you're going to fight Cali Muscle? You really think he's going to go, come on now, let's get in the ring and let's see who wins? So it's imaginary. Now, on top of that, all that anger that you're freaking fuming about, it's all imaginary, man, because it's never going to happen. I bet anyone that you ever freaking screamed about, you never faced, you never challenged, and you freaking have to rest in your bed with an unresolved situations left and right about people that you're screaming over and that you're challenging. Come here, motherfucker, I'll go over there. You're doing all that stuff, which is all imaginary because it never happened. And so you just wasted all your time.
Stay away from this.
Stay away from this. Dude, I hope they fucking sue the fuck out of this motherfucker.
Well, what do you know? Alan would love for Cali Muscle to get sued. Let's check out what Alan is inadvertently doing. Okay, now Cali Muscle's talking about ultra-processed foods, right? He's reading all the stuff he can't pronounce. It's ultra-processed. Okay, now check this out. The health risk of processed foods. The more ultra-processed foods consumed in your diet, the higher your risk of obesity, heart disease, and stroke, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. But sue the guy.
Be so worried about 100, like, so say this man drinks 2 of those, 2 gallons, 2 gallons of this. 2 gallons of this has 110 milligrams of sodium in it.
All right, let me clarify this for Cali Muscle, man. Cali Muscle is not concerned with sodium, natural occurring sodium. Okay, sodium is found in celery and lots of vegetables, man. There's some in fruits, man, and so it's everywhere. The seaweeds, they all have sodium or iodine, and so he's not worried about that. The problem is that sodium in that bottle that you're freaking, it's probably freaking added sodium because it's flat, and so they added. And so that's the question, because he noticed that when he drank those products, it caused problems. It made him swell again. So that's his concern.
You're dying, all right? You are in the process of death.
And so I love to close this video by saying that, guys, we don't know. Seriously, why can't we just say we don't know? Because look, someone gets struck with cancer, whatever problem, now they have to face either doing it medically, or a lot of people go naturally. Many people do. And then what happens is what happens. And if you take a look at the numbers, things doesn't happen in the way you think. Someone catches any problem, they may die a year later, 2 years later, they're 15 years later, they're thriving. I know people where their medical professions told them they had 3 months to live and they're still alive, and that person is dead. The one that told them you got 3 months, they're out. And so I've seen that all, man. I worked in the profession for many years. When you see so much, there's no more questions or no more knowledge about it because you just don't know. You take the path that you take because that's the path you took, period. And so whatever path you're thinking, there's a lot of people taking an entire other path. They're doing great with it. Or they may die with it. And so if they die with it, look at you, see, you should have took this path because the other guy who took that path, they made it. And so you're making comparisons like that. Like that guy's destiny is the same as this. No, it's not. You can't take someone's destiny and say, this guy did this, you ought to do that. Because everyone chooses a path that's very, very different. Some people are just fed up with the medical industry. They're walking out with bags of medications, so they don't want to take that route. So they treat themselves naturally. And a lot of people like me, I wouldn't care to die, man. I would die. I don't want to take that route. I'm going to take the natural route. So let it be that I die half the time. That's me. And so, man, maybe you learn something to not trample upon someone's path. Because if you observe clearly, there's many, many paths, and some people turn to herbs only. Some people turn to just fruits like Cali Muscles, fruits. Some other people turn only to veggies. Some turn to carnivore. Now, who am I to say that was right and this is wrong and this is wrong because of my experience? And that's freaking, whatever you call that, that's arrogant. And so anyway, man, it's great doing this video, man. At the same time, look at this. Subscribe to Alan Roberts. At least for the shits and giggles, man. So anyway, until the next one. Catch ya.